We've seen a lot of students here alongside the teachers, supporting them in their effort to get more funding for the classroom. But a group of about 80 kids came here with a very specific purpose today, to have AP literature class. These students from Edmond Memorial High School wanted to show legislators just how dedicated they and their teachers are.
It's my favorite class. We get to talk about all these subjects that most adults feel uncomfortable bringing up around teenagers, and it makes us feel like we actually have a voice.
They also aim to demonstrate issues caused by overcrowding in the classroom. And with AP exams fast approaching, teachers say there's no time to waste.
We're trying to navigate that. We're trying to figure out how to honor the hard work that they've put in this year while trying to make sure that we send the message that we have to get something done, or else staying in the classroom doesn't really prepare them anymore. 3
special education teachers from Edmond are skipping the state capitol to volunteer their time here this week, offering a resource that's vital to the families they serve.
I knew one of my students really wanted to be here, and I didn't know if there was going to be an opportunity for him, just because it's harder to find people to volunteer with students who have special needs.
But when she showed up to Henderson Hills, she discovered she wasn't the only one. 2 teachers from other Edmond schools, as well as a dedicated volunteer, are now working together to make sure these children maintain the structure they're used to having during the day.
Who's so awesome that we can change our schedule, we can do whatever needs to be done. If one of our students needs a sensory break, we can go to a different room. And so it's been really great just to have that flexibility for our kids.
For today, there are thousands of students here as well. These kids want legislators to hear from them and how these cuts to education funding have affected them personally. Many of them talking about how their textbooks are either falling apart. One girl said her textbook is 11 years old. Another said that she's using a used workbook for French class. And so they want the lawmakers to hear from them and how it's personally affecting their education. They fear that their dreams and aspirations may be squandered because of this, that they can't live up to their full potential. There have been no reports of violence, no reports of vandalism, despite some rumors that have been spreading on social media. They said mostly the troopers have been responding to medical calls, and IMSA has been out here pretty busy with people tripping and falling and having some exhaustion, things like that. And they've also had reports of 4 lost children this week. However, they were all found very quickly and returned to their parents, so everything is fine on that front. And just within the past hour, as the weather conditions decline and progress was being made in the Senate, people started to pack up and leave. Buses are loading people up, and so it's a very different picture out here than it looked this morning. But don't be fooled, there are still plenty of people inside awaiting what happens next. Teachers raced to the Capitol this morning to get inside before the House and Senate gavelled in, and the building actually reached capacity before 9 a.m. But state troopers tell me that OEA has actually been helping them manage the foot traffic.
Shut the doors, close the Capitol.
Thousands of people packed the upper floors of the building, chanting for change. But Lieutenant Lance Schroyer tells me the week has been overwhelmingly peaceful.
I mean, the teachers have been good to work with. They've been pretty easy. It's just the sheer numbers that are causing the problems.
Fire hazards are the major concern with this many people in one space. That's why Schroyer says it's important to keep the exits as clear as possible.
If I feel the first floor up, then there's nowhere for the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd to go if something bad happens, because they've all got to get out.
Today, multiple troopers were pulled from their posts outside to monitor the crowds indoors.
All those bad numbers are coming into you.
But communication among them proved difficult with all the noise.
Pardon me, pardon me, pardon me.
Schroyer stepped outside periodically to scan the long lines of teachers waiting for others to leave, but he says they can't force anyone to give up their First Amendment rights.
We talked to the OEA, and they've been great about working with us, saying, hey, once we lock this down and people don't come out, people can't come in. And and they spread that word for us.
These teachers have been marching since Wednesday and are now halfway to the state capitol. Their spirits remain high. You'd never suspect this group has been walking more than 15 miles a day for 4 days straight. A passion for their students and love outpouring from Route 66 communities helps keep them going.
People come out of the restaurants, their houses to wave and to thank us, and it's heartwarming. Makes me feel like I chose the right profession.
We made it once! In Davenport, church members revitalized the educators with fresh-baked goodies and a song to remind them of their purpose.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
We need people inside the Capitol. We need people with legislators. We need people in the gallery. We need people rallying outside. and we need people doing this kind of demonstration.
Del City teacher Aaron Baker drove all the way to Tulsa just to make the trek back home on foot.
I was joking with someone that it's like summer camp, except for your cabin is 15 miles down the road every day. So we're really forming some special bonds.
They tell me they're sore, but strive to just keep moving. A doctor comes every evening to check on their feet. And even when the lightning threatened to interrupt their plans Friday, the teachers walked around a gym track in Stroud more than 100 times to meet their goals.
We gave them a list of legislators and why they were walking that track inside. They were making phone calls. I'm walking. What are you doing?
They hope the message gets across.
To all my kids back home, don't forget you have your vocab due when I get back, whenever that is.
The final stretch will be Tuesday as they leave from Joan High School to make it to the state capitol. They'd love for a large crowd to join them.
The greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
On this 50th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., we're beginning a new series. We've joined all local media to give Oklahoma a united voice in promoting a healthy dialogue on race.
Our News 9's Jesse Mitchell shows us how the teacher walkout is having a greater impact in our minority communities.
For parents who are single or working more than one job to provide for their children, paying extra for childcare while schools are closed simply isn't an option. And community leaders say this applies to a disproportionately large population of Black and Latino families. Kids in low-income neighborhoods are statistically more likely to struggle to succeed. Former elementary school principal Lee Rowland says that's due not only to fewer tax dollars rolling in, but also a higher turnover rate among teachers. He's seen it firsthand.
The children that need education the most are the ones that are suffering the most.
He retired from administration to reach even more youngsters in the community. And he's also searching high and low for young Black men to be role models in the classroom, because right now they're few and far between.
A lot of our kids see people that don't look like them and don't relate to them. So this is absolutely incumbent upon us as a state, as a city, to be very intentional in regards to finding Black teachers and Black male teachers especially.
He's among the thousands of educators rallying at the state capitol this week, hoping to speak to legislators on behalf of the kids who don't have a voice. But for their parents, the school closures could mean extreme hardship. That's why the Urban League and other organizations have opened their doors to provide childcare close by for free.
Our typical family is one that lives below the poverty line or at the poverty line. So they don't have the additional resources that they would, to be able to have a week-long camp or 2 or 3 extra days that they can pay for.
Urban League Director Dr. Valerie Thompson predicts more families will be turning to them for help the longer the walkout continues. They still have room for about 100 more children here, but Thompson says they'll need monetary donations as well as bottled water to keep their services functioning the best they can. I'll be bringing you more United Voice stories throughout the year. We hope to continue highlighting the inequality that still affects many people in our community and spark a discussion that leads to better understanding. If you have an idea for a story, I'd love to hear it.